Hey YouTube, back again. Today we're going to take considerations for body armor. A couple things I wanted to point out that some newer people might not know, and then maybe a couple of tips for my learned veterans. Here we go. So you got a bunch of different types of plate carriers. You got your basic plate carrier, which is just going to be pockets for your plates, shoulder strap, pocket for your plates. These are good because they afford mobility. You're not weighed down and wrapped up by a big old wrapped up like this body armor here. Goes all the way around the sides. It's fat, it's thick all the way up through here, and you have neck protection, shoulder protection, side protection, back protection. But you feel like a giant marshmallow when you're wearing this kit. But there's give and take with both sets. Okay, this one makes you feel like a giant marshmallow, but it gives you an immense amount of coverage and also protection from spalling. So you've got your neck protector here. If you're to be standing facing your opponent and an impacted round hits this plate and is broken up, it can shoot out fragments in multiple directions. And while there is a spall wrap on this made to mitigate that effect, it still can happen. So this is good. You always want to protect your neck. Additionally, with this kind of an armor system, you tend to feel the weight on your shoulders much less, because a lot of the weight is actually transferred to your abdomen and midsection via the cummerbund. And they actually have on the inside a secondary cummerbund. This is just to keep the back plate almost all the weight transferred onto your torso. When you're running a plate carrier like this that does not have soft body inserts, you have to step it up to a standalone plate. Now, standalone plates are significantly thicker and significantly more expensive, but they do offer slightly enhanced mobility because of the shooter cut that you've got here. It allows you to bend down and twist at the waist easier, as opposed to this system here. When I run this system, I find that the shoulders, because of the weight of these plates, the level 4 standalones, the shoulder pads tend to dig in after an hour or so of wearing. So what I've started doing is running one of these. This is a yoke and collar from an IOTV, and I just don this first and then don this over it, and it spreads the weight of the shoulder pads out significantly, also adding that ballistic protection from spalling that we discussed earlier with the secondary armor system. Helmets, pretty cool. Everybody should have one. If it's just a bump helmet, you should have one of those, but I prefer ballistic protection, even though something like this, you're probably going to end up injured anyway just because of back face deformity. But no telling when you could fall down, have something fall down on you. I don't know if you've ever been hit in the head by a falling object, but it doesn't take a big object, and it doesn't take a very much of a height for it to do a lot of damage. I recommend helmets. What's something else here? Little tip, you always want to keep TKs on your kit. I like keep multiple TKs, and I like to keep them in a place that's accessible with both hands depending on the injury. This one's just sort of an auxiliary, a bonus to a bonus to a bonus. I use rubber bands to keep them on. You got to change these out maybe 2 or 3 times a year. But the reason for this is you want to be able to just yank this thing right off of here. Just rip it off, and the rubber bands will keep it on there enough, but still allow you to rip that off if you need to. On this kit, I got it set up in the front, down below my mags. So that way it's accessible with both hands in almost any position that I may find myself needing to apply a tourniquet. Additionally, when you're setting up your kit, you want to try to keep your right side clear. This is where you're going to be shouldering your rifle and getting your cheek weld, so you want as little bulk as you can on your right shoulder. I like to run my radio and comms up my left shoulder. It's kind of the cheapo push to talk, but it works for now. And I like to keep the front slick. That way you can get low to the ground when you do your prone. This is about the most I'd ever put on the front of my plate carrier, just to make sure that I can maintain that low profile. And yeah, I think that's all I got to know. Actually, let's talk about bullet threats. In 2020, we've got a lot more data on threats and what armor is able to stop and what is not able to stop. These days, I used to run with it in conjunction with plates. This is hard armor and there's soft armor inside. This is a pretty good setup, but I've moved to this recently because of special threats like 20-inch or 22-inch barrel AR-15 shooting the XM85 ammo. Just the standard 55 grains have shown to poke through a lot of the level 3 plus type stuff. Only that, but this will stop from 30-06 armor piercing. And out in the country, that's probably what you're going to run up against. It's not going to be your tactical cool guy out there with an AR-15. It's probably going to be a hunter with his deer rifle. So I stepped it up to this. Yeah, that's about it, guys. If you got any questions, I can do my best to answer them in the comment section. And that's it. Have a good one.